Thanks for being here. I just wanted to go through a couple of issues. I think it's always a good opportunity or a good time at the end of the year to take a stock of where we've been and what we've been able to do this year. And this has been a very unique and unusual year in the nuclear industry. And fundamentally, it's been a year in which my faith and confidence in this agency have been reconfirmed and reinforced again and again, whether it was dealing with the incidents in Fukushima Daiichi, whether it was dealing with challenges with flooding, or whether it was the staff of the agency who weren't directly involved in those things, doing the day-to-day work of keeping the facilities and licensees that we regulate doing their jobs and keeping the American people safe. It's been a very gratifying time for me to just see the high level of performance and capability that this agency has demonstrated. So we had new challenges thrown at us, and we dealt with those challenges, and ultimately we're able to do our regular work too, to keep everybody safe. It's been a very productive year for the Commission. We have issued 92 policy and adjudicatory decisions, which is about a third more, I think, than we did last year. We had 38 public meetings of the Commission itself, and those meetings were almost all very specific on substantive policy issues. And that, when you take out holidays and all those kinds of things, equates to about 4 meetings a month when you really look at the times in which we have open for meetings. So it was a very, very busy year. And those meetings ran the gamut of materials issues to Japan issues to new reactor issues. Of course, once again, the agency continued to demonstrate that it's one of the best places to work in the federal government. We came out again doing very well on the OPM survey of large federal agencies, and I love that survey in particular because it's our people telling the leadership of this agency what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. And by and large, we have a workforce that is very pleased with their job and very committed to their job, which is the most important thing. It's also been an opportunity to continue to help the agency grow and build its infrastructure. We have a new building that's going up next door. Maybe many of you have seen that. I ran into somebody recently who mentioned there was a new building going up near our office, and I said, yeah, that's going to be our expansion in the future to really consolidate and bring all our people back together to make us an even better and more efficient agency. We also continued our extensive outreach efforts. We held over 1,000 public meetings across the country. Again, one of the hallmarks, I think, of this agency is its outreach efforts. And we entered the new, I guess we are century with our efforts on social media. We now have an external blog, which has become an extremely valuable tool in my mind for communicating. We have a YouTube channel, and I think we're trying to utilize to the best of our abilities a lot of the new social media, which I think is a very good thing, and it just shows our efforts to continue to advance and grow as an agency. Of course, this was a hallmark year for the work that we've been doing on new reactor licensing. We completed the first mandatory hearings with the new licensing process that we have as an agency, holding Vogtle and Summer mandatory hearings. And we've been working diligently through design certifications and design reviews for new reactors, always keeping our focus on safety. And I think that, again, is just a testament to the work that we've done, that the staff has been able to complete its work and make sure they've done it in a way that focuses on safety. And of course, we've responded to significant issues in dealing with external hazards at nuclear power plants in this country and, of course, in Japan. And we can perhaps talk about that later. But I want to stress that we have not forgotten about the important safety issues. We completed the pilot plants for the new fire protection program that we call NFP 805. And we've now received a number of applications from licensees to transition to this new fire protection program. And at its heart, this is a program that will make plants safer and better able to deal with fire protection. And I'm extremely pleased with the progress we've made. It's never as fast as I would like for it to be in these kinds of things, but I certainly think we've made tremendous progress. And we have done our job to oversee the safety of the American people by being objective and clear about performance of nuclear power plants. And right now we have 2 plants, Browns Ferry and Fort Calhoun, that are in what we call column 4 of our action matrix, but they're getting the highest levels of oversight and attention because of what we've seen as performance deficiencies. So with all the external activities going on, we never lost sight of our first and foremost responsibility. We also have done a lot in the materials area. We closed down our work on Yucca Mountain in a very professional and responsible way. We have finished licensing of a uranium enrichment facility in Idaho and have made tremendous progress on our efforts to secure radioactive materials in this country. We have made our inventory system, the National Source Tracking System, a very usable and well-adopted system, which is really a testament, I think, to the agency. And this is a very intensive technology program, and it's the kind of areas where sometimes federal agencies can have difficulty, and I'm very pleased with the way that we've worked through the challenges we had in that area, and we now have a system that's doing its job and has been used in very specific examples to help us identify sources that could be of concern from external events, and it's allowed us to quickly identify where sources may be to ensure that there are no ultimately problems for the American people. And of course, this has been a year that has been driven by the events in Japan. The agency is continuing its efforts to deal with lessons learned and to make changes that will be necessary to nuclear power plants in this country. So, again, I think we've come a long way on putting in place the kinds of changes that we need to make. The staff just had a meeting last week with the industry public meeting to talk about ways to accomplish what needs to be done to ultimately make the American people safe. And I'm very pleased that there's been a widespread commitment to working through these issues in 5 years. And I think that's really an important milestone, and we need to stay committed to that because there will be more issues that will come at us, and we need to be able to resolve those issues that are in front of us now and do that in a systematic and methodical way. And I believe we're continuing to do that. Of course, I would always love for us to be able to do that a little bit faster, but I think we are making tremendous progress, and ultimately, I think the staff is doing a very nice job of taking these lessons and beginning to implement them in specific ways for the power reactors.